In the United Nations building, there was a meeting going on. Yet unlike most meeting, it had a 96% attendance. Almost every world leader was here bickering and arguing about new global economic policies that needed to be made. The meeting had been going on for the better part of 3 hours, and naturally the facade of cordiality had long fallen away. It was at the 3-hour and 15-minute mark that it happened, though. Between speakers at the podium, suddenly, a figure appeared. All but a single camera had its feed cut to static, and the room dimmed significantly. As the rich and powerful leaders of the world saw this figure standing upon the podium, they felt a chill in their hearts. He had appeared out of thin air, wearing a deep black cloak that seemed to be the end of all light. He held an old farming scythe, which he set down leaning on the podium. The sands in the hourglass tied to his waist stopped flowing as he leaned in to speak in a raspy, hollow voice. Humanity. Silence fell across the entire room, dead silence, as they all instinctively knew who this voice came from and what the speaker was. Once everything was silent, the figure nodded its head and continued. Humanity, I have come to you this day to request your aid. The being paused and looked across the room, seemingly waiting for something. Finally, the South Korean president spoke up and asked in a shaky voice, What may we assist you with, Mr. Death? Death at the podium shook his head, saying, No formalities, please. I am here to ask for help, and I am the one in the lower position here for a change. In answer to your question, though, I need your assistance in removing a certain species from existence. They are a race that will consume and devour everything in the universe if left alone. There is a 5-century window to destroy them entirely to prevent this. I know genocide is a big ask for anyone to do consciously, but of all the intelligent races that exist, humanity has done it the most by sheer accident. Yet you are also the only race to have ever once shown remorse for doing so. You are a species capable of great destruction, and also capable of seeing the bigger picture. So it is for these reasons that I come to you to ask for aid. The U.S. president spoke up. What's in it for us? Death let out a hollow, whistling laugh. He, he, he. Oh, you humans are truly the most enjoyable of races. None other would dare to ask me that question. It's refreshing, really. And it's also the reason I've asked for a few favors. If humanity undertakes this task, I will work with my sister Pestilence and my brother Plague, and collectively, we will gift the following. Insects will for no longer than a century avoid any and all human crops or structures. Your people for no more than a single century will suffer no disease, nor will those animals dear to you. Lastly, my own gift is thus. Every human being henceforth will gain an extra century of life. Your average lifespan will shoot towards 192. Also, if I accomplish this task, I will be allowed to select a species as my personal charge. Imagine for a moment what it would mean to have death as the god watching over, protecting, and guiding humanity. Now for the final item on the list. The gods that do so exist will lift the technological restrictions placed upon every race younger than 100,000 years from humanity. With this restriction lifted, humanity may roam the stars at their leisure after they have removed the species I ask you to. As Death went silent, more fervent discussions than before Death arrived started up in the room, arguing over whether or not to accept. After arguing for a time, it was put to a vote with 80% in favor and 20% against. Seeing the vote leaning in his favor, Death let out another of his laughs. Heh, heh, heh. Thank you then, humanity. Thank you, my precious charges, for agreeing to the conditions and accepting me as your guardian. There are many boons that you are not yet ready for, but within 3 generations, children will be born with my gifts. I look forwards to humanity's continued development. With that, Death picked up his scythe and vanished into thin air like he had never been there at all. The cameras all came back to life, and the room went back to its usual brightness. After this event, the world leaders called an end to the session, and economic talks would take a back seat until the current matter is resolved. The display pauses, and in front of it a teacher overlooking her class with many alien races, and tells her students, "This, dear students, is the footage of humanity accepting a task of death as well as a god of death. When the Galactic Council first discovered mankind and tried to subjugate them, they sent this single video on every transmissible frequency to every council member state. Now it is shown and taught at the end of public education's galaxy-wide so that no species tries to fight those who Death himself goes to for favors. This class is the time Death asked the humans for help.